Things may not always go the way that you want them to go, but you never have to cower or think less than yourself or feel bad in the presence of anybody, because you're a child of God. In verse 28, the second half, it says, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. Basically, 4 main components to dominion. If you can understand these 4 things, it helps you to clarify better how to live a life of dominion. So number 1, God has given us dominion over every non-living thing. So what I mean by that is that the rocks that are in the ground, God has given us dominion over. Behind me, the bookshelf that I have, all those books that are behind me, God has given me dominion over it. These things are not living things. God has given me the authority over the things that I have in my possession to rule them. So in my house, I rule my house. So if you walk into my house and my house is clean, then you recognize a perception of my dominion. Because the perception of my dominion is everything needs to be in its place, everything needs to be clean. If you walk into my house and my house is not so clean, then you understand the perception of my dominion. That is not something that I take seriously, or that's not something that I have the energy to accomplish, or I think I don't have the energy to accomplish. But at the end of the day, God has given us power over non-living things. But it also says, because He gives us dominion over the earth, because there's non-living things on the earth, He's also giving us dominion over organic things. All living things. So the dog that I'm afraid of, God gave me dominion over that. The monkey that I'm looking at the zoo through the plexiglass, because I'm afraid of him, God gave me dominion over him. The lion, the tiger, the bear, the birds, the fishes, the insects, the microorganisms, the things I can see and the things I cannot see, God has given me authority over them. He's given me power over them. Now, in fairness, there are a lot of us on this earth. There are maybe 7 billion of us or more on this earth. So because of that, all things on the earth are under the subjection of a man or a woman. All things are under the power of a man or a woman. But all things are not necessarily under my power or your power, because we have particular things that we have control over. We have particular organic or living organism that we have control over. Some of us have a garden in our backyard. Some of us have some plants in our house. Some of us have some groceries in our fridge, so some food in our fridge, some bananas and some pineapples and some mangoes. And we have authority and dominion over those things. We can eat them. We can use them to show others how to cook. But we have power and mastery over those things in our life. We have power and mastery over the things that are not living. We have power and mastery over the things that are living. But here's the catch. He never gives man dominion over another man. He never gives a woman dominion over another woman. In fact, even when it comes to relationships, He gives a man a position of authority in a marriage. But the authority is in fact partnership. So when it comes to dominating, controlling, ruling, it doesn't give us as men the authority to dominate, control, and rule women. And the same thing as me being a pastor. It doesn't give me the authority to dominate, to control, and to rule people. Dominion has nothing to do with ruling people. Now, leadership, from a secular perspective, has everything to do with ruling people. But what God understands that we don't understand is that when you model authority over the world, people will follow you because they want to have authority over their world. And if all of us teach other people how to have authority over the world, we're leading from a position of modeling, not from a position of control. Dominion is not about controlling people. Dominion is about controlling things. It's about controlling things inorganic, non-living things. It's about controlling things that are organic, plants, animals, birds, and so forth. So it's very important for us to understand that, because when we understand that, we're talking about 4 very important things as it relates to dominion. God gives us dominion over inorganic things. He gives us dominion over organic things, living things. But He does not give us dominion over people. When you try to take power over people and control people, you're going to have a problem. When you try to emit violence to control a person, whether it's violence in speech or in action, you're going to get somebody probably that will follow you, but they're following you out of fear. And if a greater threat comes, they will follow that threat. And if they can get a way to get free from your clutches, they will get free from you, and they will become a problem for you. Because no man wants to be in slavery. If you try to manipulate somebody, if they love you enough, they'll let you get away with it for quite a while. But if they don't love you, after you do it 2 or 3 times, they will cut you off, because nobody wants to be manipulated. When it comes to influence, a person will allow you to influence them. But when they now have a competing interest to your interest, they will leave you. But when a person is walking in dominion and authority, and you can see it, and you have wisdom, you will want to learn from them how you can walk in authority and dominion as well. Because that's how we were created. We were created to walk in authority. We were created to be connected with God. We were created to know God. But the 4th principle of dominion is that there is one human being that we were meant to control, to rule, to dominate. And that person is ourselves. When I rule myself, I control myself, I dominate myself, my life becomes amazing. Because I tell myself how to feel. So when bad situations come, if I have enough dominion over myself, I can rise above bad situations and feel the way that I want to feel. I can think the way that I want to think. I can talk the way that I want to talk. I can choose to pray to God and to connect to His Spirit instead of connecting to my tears and my grief and my sorrow. Now, I'm not saying that grief and sorrow is anything wrong with that, or we shouldn't have it, but I am saying that it's something wrong with being in grief for 40 years, for 50 years, especially when you're in grief over something that doesn't even grant more than 1 day of your time. Now, if I lose a loved one, then, I may grieve for a while. I may grieve for quite some time. But if you steal my idea, I'm not going to cry about it for 10 years. If you steal my idea for 1 day, I'm going to be upset that you took it. But tomorrow, I'm going to create another idea. It's because you taking doesn't mean anything. The thing that matters is that I'm connected to a creative creator who's able to create things in me. So instead of crying about things that you can replace, we need to take dominion and say, you know what? I'm not crying about that anymore. A group of people don't like me. There are 7 billion people on the face of the earth. Who cares? Get a new set of friends. I feel so lonely. Take dominion and figure out a way not to be lonely anymore. Because we got to get to a place where we take authority over ourselves. Because we're waiting for God to do something, and God is waiting for us to take authority over ourselves. Because when we take authority over ourselves, when God gives us direction, we don't end up making statements like, for years God's been telling me to do, this particular thing to help the youth in my community. For years you've been telling me, and every time I just don't do it. No. The reason why we can say this is because we're not taking dominion in our life. When we take dominion in our life, we'll get to the place that when God tells us to do something, we do it immediately. I'm not saying that I'm there, because I'm definitely not there in many cases. I'm not saying that we have to be there. But I'm saying that we have to begin to adjust our focus and say, God, I want to get to this place in my life. I want to get to the place where enemies cannot disrupt my focus, and they cannot disrupt my goals. Because I need to grow, and I need to get a deeper wisdom to understand how to do the things that I need to do in this world. So, those are the 4 principles of dominion.
Hello and God bless. My name is Neville Solomon and welcome to Virtual Church TV. We have a new low content book that's out. It is my personal Bible study notebook, and we want to give you this book for absolutely free. I want to get this book to you for free. All you have to do is just go to NevilleSolomon.com, and when you get to NevilleSolomon.com, it's actually going to bring you to our Facebook page. When you get to our Facebook page, all you have to do is just find this particular book, click onto it, and then we'll bring you to where you can download the book for free. We'll ask you how much would you like to pay. Just put 0 there. Pretty much we just want you to get it for free, so just press 0 and you can get it for free. Because the main thing is that we want to spread the word of God, and we want you to grow, so we want to get you some resources so that you can grow. Well, anyways, God bless you, and hoping that you have a wonderful day. Thank you.